Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we have some very big and most exciting news. For today on the community livestream, Wargaming announced the next dockyard ship. And it's a ship that we've been asking for quite some time, but I don't think it's a ship that many were expecting to be, well, coming to the game anytime soon, or really be the next dockyard ship. And that is the newly announced Tier 9 Premium German Heavy Cruiser, the Blucher. We are finally getting the final Hipper class in-game. That's pretty exciting, and she's going to be a Tier 9. But what is she going to be? Well, we'll get to that here in a moment. But what was she in real life? Well, the Blucher was the second Hipper, if my memory serves me correct. I believe 5 were ordered, 3 were completed. You had Hipper, Blucher, and then Prince Eugen. The Blucher is most famous for having an incredibly short operational history, shall we say. She was completed in late 1939. Well, I think she was commissioned in late 1939, and then she was actually put into service in April of 1940. And she was, I believe, sunk in the same week she was officially, pushed into service. So, yeah, very short history. What happened is the Norwegian campaign was beginning, and the Blucher was trying to sneak into some Norwegian fjords, and, well, the Norwegian didn't really like that. And she's famous for being blasted with some, I believe, like, pre-World War I 11-inch gun, and also I believe 2, again, pre-World War I or like early World War I era torpedoes launched by a Norwegian fortress slammed into her sides and very quickly sunk her. Like, literally the week she was launched, well, the week she was, I should say, pushed into service, right? So within a week of being sent out, she was sunk. I don't think the ship had even rusted yet. That's how short her service life is. And if you want an idea of like the rust and stuff, just look at any pictures of any ship returning to port after being out for like a 2-month or 3-month deployment. Things covered in rust because salt makes things rust. And if you look at like some of the modern Navy ships and how fast they rust, it's like, dang, salt be like that, salt water be like that. Imagine back in like, the 30s and 40s before we had, the modern rust proofing techniques, or I don't think that's an actual word. The whatever, the new paints and anti-corrosion, there we go, chemicals and paints that we have now. So like the ship hadn't even had a chance to rust, and she got sunk by the Norwegians. So that's what she's known for. So hopefully you don't leave her parked in your fjords port, because she might get sunk at port. So anyway, the game version, what is it going to be? Well, according to Wargaming, what was said on the live stream at least, we would get her details in a quote-unquote future dev blog. They didn't even have an illustration, well, I guess her model to show off on the live stream, so they don't even have that ready. And the way they were talking on the live stream, we won't know for some time. I'm assuming probably in like a January-ish dev blog. They did say she was going to be the next dockyard ship, and it is happening next year. I mean, there's, 2 weeks, a week left in this year, so it's got to kind of be next year, right? But she's going to be the first dockyard of the new year. Well, we've got the newer dockyard going on. That's got, the rest of this update, a couple weeks into the next update, and then we tend to get like an update or so off for the dockyard. So probably the second or third update of 2025 is when I would expect the Blucher to be available in that dockyard. Now, if they do turn around and release the dev blog, I will, cut it into this video, and I'll be like, hey, editing Sealord here, and we'll talk about, the Blucher stats. But they didn't even go over his stats on stream. Typically, when a dev blog is coming out, they'll go over the stats of the announced ships on stream, and then they'll release the dev blog like an hour later, but they didn't even do that on stream. All I know is that she's going to be a dockyard ship, she's going to be a Tier 9, and it is the Blucher. So, let's talk about the Hipper and the Prince Eugen, shall we? And talk about what could be done to them to make them a more interesting tier 9 ship, right? If they're being updated to tier 9, because that's, obviously what they're going to do. They'll probably start with either the Hipper or the Eugen and go from there. I imagine, given the age of the models, they'll probably want to redo a lot of the geometry and the armor of the two ships. The two ships are well armored for close range combat, 7 years ago, right? They're kind of in the same boat as the Japanese cruisers, where you get shot in the mast or the superstructure and you somehow get citadeled, right? They got some of that funky old geometry going on, so I imagine they'll probably give them a bit of a facelift there, and she'll probably get some slightly thicker armor as well. I mean, the Hipper and the Eugen, they are pretty well armored, right? They are heavy cruisers. These were well armored cruisers in real life, but I imagine getting up to tier 9, you'll see something more akin, to maybe like the rune's armor scheme, or I should say the thickness of the rune. I would expect it to probably get some type of heal. They may throw some combat instructions on there as well. They've been doing that a lot more often here recently. And I would imagine it would have to be a little bit more... Well, there's two ways they could go with this. They could make it more rune-ish. That was brought up on stream. They said that they didn't know. These are just the community managers and such, right? These aren't the guys actually, making the ship, making the model and crunching the numbers and seeing what gameplay style the ship is going to have. They're just the community managers, so they don't have the information right there in front of them. They obviously don't know that information. And they could do that. I mean, Rune is a pretty solid tier 9 in my opinion. It's a great kiter, and the German AP is really good when you can get in close, and the Rune's good for that. They could make it more Rune-ish, maybe give them a little bit more range in the main battery guns, tighten up the accuracy a little bit, keep the heal that it has on the Eugen, thicken up the armor, maybe get a little bit more HP. They could do that, or they could go for like a more medium to close range, aggressive AP focus. I mean, the whole line's pretty much AP focused, right? The German HE is pretty anemic. The AP is great when you catch someone broadside. You can easily clap. Same in lower tier cruisers, and you can chunk battleship upper armor for fantastic amounts with the German AP. So they could kind of go more in that direction, lean more into that. Maybe give it a funny button that it could be like the Wisconsin, where it gets a faster reload rate, where you can crank 2 salvos out, and the time it normally takes you to crank 1 out. And they could give it again the same thing that the Wisconsin funny button has, where it decreases the reload time of your consumables. That would probably work with, again, a little bit of love shown to the guns. Maybe have the reload time of the Hipper, but the heal of the Eugen, because it's kind of one of the things that the Eugen trades off for that heal. It has that 2-second longer reload time than the Hipper. They could do that. I think that'd be pretty interesting. And that would be more in line with kind of the German cruiser line identity, or they could go off of some Wile E. Coyote direction with it. Obviously, again, we just don't know at this point. But I think it's great that we're getting a historical ship. A ship that was really built, a ship that has a little bit of interesting history to it. Wargaming does really try to bring some of that history into the ship, so I don't really know what they're going to do with the Blucher, though, because like with the Hornet's a good example. She has her B-25 from the Doolittle raid. I don't know. Maybe they'll probably do something funny, like put a model of the ancient Norwegian torpedo on the deck somewhere, like how they have the Frix X on the Roma, right? They'll probably do something funny like that, which that would be great if they did. But I think it's cool that it's coming in game. It's great that it's a dockyard ship. It's a tier 9 dockyard ship, so I would expect a dockyard of similar difficulty to the Njord. You'll probably have to buy 2 phases as well. I would imagine it will be of a similar cost, maybe a little bit less because it's a cruiser. It depends upon what the other rewards are going to be, and the mid-tier reward. Mid-grind reward as well. But I would expect it to be again, probably about the same as the Njord Dockyard in terms of its difficultness and grindiness. And it's great that it's coming to the game. It's not the next Hipper that I won't. Actually, no, it really should be the next Hipper, because it is, of course, a real one. But what I would have liked to have seen, and they may still do this down the road, I would have liked to have seen an American Prince Eugen at tier 7 with radar and missing a turret. I think that would be a hilarious, nice little, funny historical ship to have in the game. You know, American Prince Eugen. That'd be pretty cool. But, you know, this is again, you know, probably should definitely be next because it is, you know, a real still historical ship. It's something that definitely deserves to be in the game, despite her very quick service life, shall we say. So, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the Blucher finally coming to the game. Again, don't have anything to show you from Wargaming side, unless, of course, they release a dev blog out of nowhere after I make this video, which they have been known to do, but again, we'll see what happens with that. So, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. What do you think she should be? Obviously, Wargaming is still working on the stats. Well, actually, they're probably not right now, because I think they're about to go on their usual, like, 2-week Christmas break. I think they normally take the week of Christmas and, like, the first week or so of New Year's off, so we'll probably hear more from them after that point. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about the Blucher coming to the game in a dockyard. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday and wonderful rest of your weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.